Hello everyone, I'm Stuart Varnum Atkin, and it's a great pleasure to be able to guide you on this grand tour, even a virtual one, of the River Thames in London. I chose this itinerary because this is one of my favorite parts of London ever since I lived in London many years ago. It's a stretch of river which is full of history. The River Thames has always been a very important part of London life. It's really why London is there at all, because the Thames flows into the ocean just a few miles down river. And life today still centers around the river. So there are all kinds of artistic centers. There are many historic buildings, all kinds of interesting bridges, boats going up and down the river, and so many things to talk about and look at. And I hope you enjoy the tour. Well, we're, of course, producing a little text to go with the tour, and I hope you'll enjoy that. It'll have a few pictures and maps and some photographs, as will the tour itself. I'll be including some of my own photographs. And also we'll be using the very reliable and up-to-date Google Maps as we gradually move around. So let's have a look at the Google map of the river. Here it is. This is the section that we'll be looking at in part one. And it begins at the very heart of democracy, the Palace of Westminster, where the Houses of Parliament are situated. And just across the river from them is a very important tourist site these days, and that is the huge Ferris wheel called London Eye. And this is a very wonderful modern device which was put up in the year 2000 to celebrate the millennium. And some people say it's not really a Ferris wheel at all, because it's actually a kind of cantilevered observation wheel, technically. Anyway, how it operates is that there are these capsules. We can see one there on the right, each of which holds about 25 people with some seats inside, which you can walk around. And these have motorized mounts. So the capsule actually shifts as the wheel turns so that you are always in a horizontal position. You don't suddenly go like this. It looks rather like a giant bicycle with huge spokes. There is the A-frame, which supports the whole thing, plus some cables. A very exciting thing. It's 135 meters tall, 120 meters in diameter, and from the top, as they say, iconic 360-degree views of London. So let's have a look at some of the views from the top, shall we? Down below is the, exactly 100 years old, is the former County Hall, which very splendid building, which is now partly a hotel. Various entertainment, shopping, theme parks are inside there. And then if we look up the river, this is towards the south, towards the Lambeth Bridge in the distance. And we'll be going across that bridge a little bit later. And over on the right is the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben, which is so familiar. Big Ben, of course, I have even here right behind me every day to give me the time. So let's go down, shall we, down to the river. And there are many different types of ferry on the River Thames. My favorite is the high-speed jet catamarans, which operate as river buses and move extremely fast, and we'll see those later. Here we are on the river at night, and here it is during the day. So let's just go from the pier in front of the London Eye and just head over to Westminster. As you can see, the splendid Westminster Bridge, which was actually built in 1862, the second bridge on this site. It's 250 meters long, and actually these days it's become the oldest surviving bridge in London. Actually iron arches, which are built on top of granite stone, so pretty solid altogether. So let's go under the bridge, under one of the arches. Here the river is fairly safe, not particularly rough, and very pleasant to ride along. We can see the flag flying in the distance. That's on top of the Victoria Tower by the House of Lords in the Houses of Parliament. And the flag flying means that the Parliament is actually in operation. Something is going on, and here we swing around, and there is Big Ben. Now, Big Ben is very interesting. Everybody in the world calls it Big Ben, but in fact, the tower is not called Big Ben at all. So what is Big Ben? Well, Big Ben actually is the big bell inside the tower. It's called the Great Bell of Westminster, and there are also 4 quarter bells with it, which ring the quarters. So ding dong, 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 ding dong. Those are the 4 quarter bells, and then boom is the huge bell inside. Now that's interesting because there was a lot of trouble when it was first built. In fact, the bell, which weighs about 13 tons, the first bell, when they got it up there, it was cracked badly, so they had to bring it down again. So the current bell is the second one, and it also has 1 crack, but it's kept ringing all those years. So roughly 160 years it's been ringing away, and the clock also has been ticking away very faithfully. The clock is very interesting. They adjust the clock by putting old, large coins, pennies, on the actual weights to make sure the weight is delicately balanced so that this huge clock keeps perfect time. Now, unfortunately, right now, Big Ben is wrapped up. Everything is being restored. The clock, the tower, the tiles, everything. It's basically been stripped down, and everything is being cleaned up. So that's what it looks like, wrapped up. The good news is that from this month, it's gradually being revealed. The roof tiles have just been revealed, the scaffolding taken away, and probably by the end of this year, we will go back to the real Big Ben, which of course looks like this. A wonderful icon of London, in fact, an icon of Britain. And you can go inside, and I hear that they're actually putting a lift in, so that would be nice. So here we are inside the House of Commons, inside the Houses of Parliament. You can actually visit here. You don't even have to make a reservation. You can just queue up outside. And it's interesting that this old hall, which only holds 437 members of Parliament, although there are actually 630 in total. And this was deliberate, deliberately too small. And I'll tell you why on the tour. So let's go outside and go across the bridge, shall we? Now, we're going to go towards the east side, the area called Lambeth. Here we are looking west, the sunset. Now we swing around. Here is the river, looking north. That's the direction we'll be going later. There's the London Eye, there's the County Hall, and there is Lambeth on the other side. So let's start walking across. There's a very nice sightseeing bus on the left there with a Union Jack flag design. It's interesting that on the far side, on the right, where you can see the trees, that's a very nice promenade that goes all the way down to Lambeth Bridge. It's called the Albert Embankment, named after Queen Victoria's German husband, Prince Albert, and is a very pleasant place to walk. And of course, that's where wonderful views of the Houses of Parliament that appear on postcards, like this one I happen to have, sent by a friend, they're taken from that vantage point. Now, the building you can see over there on the right, hidden by the trees, is actually a hospital, a very famous hospital called St. Thomas's Hospital. And this has a very long history, goes back to the 13th century, but Queen Victoria had the whole hospital rebuilt in this location in the 19th century. And the reason we're popping over there is not for a physical checkup, but because of the little and very interesting museum there. And it is the Florence Nightingale Museum. Why is it here? Because she founded the training school for nurses in 1860 after she got back from her wonderful services in Crimea, and the museum holds lots of her actual possessions, and this year is the bicentenary of her birth in 1820, and so there's a special exhibition going on right now. And I'm very pleased personally to be able to visit this museum with you, because I can let you know that I'm a very distant relative of Florence Nightingale herself. So let's leave it there, shall we? And you can see inside when on the actual tour. Just to let you know about the text we're producing, as I mentioned at the beginning, the actual text will include some links to websites, and also hyperlinks, so that you can actually check some of the references to the maps and where we walk as we go. So you can see there where it says London Eye, it's in blue, and all you have to do is press that, and you'll be able to travel where we've just been during the tour anytime you want to. So we hope you'll enjoy that anywhere you want to visit again. So I really hope you enjoy it, and let's enjoy traveling down the River Thames together.